Hi friends, welcome back to the Goose and Ghost Knitting Podcast. My name is Ashley and I am the maker and designer behind Goose and Ghost Knits. You can find me on Instagram as Goose and Ghost Knits and on Ravelry as Goose and Ghost. And I'm coming to you today from Seattle, as I am every week. And I'm gonna apologize now for my voice, for the general mishap of how this episode may go. I'm coming down from a pretty nasty head cold, and my voice is kind of taking the brunt of it today. I was doing, throughout the whole head cold, I was doing okay with my voice, but today it's taken the main attack, so I may sound a little bit gravelly, a little bit out there, but I'm gonna try and get through. Because if I wait one more day and try and film tomorrow, we've all heard in the past how fantastic it sounds when I try and record during a weekday and there's, all the industrial work going on outside. It's currently Sunday here, so there's no industrial work going on, or minimal industrial work going on, so we take, what do we choose? The gravelly voice or the background noise? We'll see. I'm not sure. So I switched up my filming location today. I wanted to come sit down in front of the yarn wall instead of over in front of my window. I just wanted to try something different. We'll see how this one works out, but got my yarn collection here behind me. That I've actually, while I've been sick, my couch is right behind me right here. I've been spending a lot of time laying on my couch and staring at all of the different things here and getting inspired for what's next, what I'm going to cast on next. So I've actually been very excited, very inspired lately, looking at all this. So it's been fun. And then so we've got all of my different yarns here, different sorted out by my own thought process. And then up here, these are all of my finished sweaters that I keep. And up, you can barely see over here, this is my fabric collection. And over here, you can't see it at all, but those are all my shawls and cowls and hats and stuff up there that I keep instead of I have a whole bin of other ones that I give away, but I thought it would be nice to give a little love to the stash today. So, shall we jump into it? This one may end up being a longer episode because I have a lot of things to show you, and I have a lot of things to talk about. And let's hope that my voice carries through all of that. I'm not wearing any knitwear today. I'm actually just wearing a Disneyland Spirit jersey. I couldn't be bothered today. It was, I couldn't care less today. I'm not wearing makeup. You can see my lovely little spots all out. No. It was not happening today, so it is what it is. So no knitwear today, but I do have some sewing projects that I finished this week to show you. And we'll start with this one right here. Both patterns, or one's not really a pattern, one was kind of like a tutorial schematic. And I actually think that I finished this one almost a month ago, but I forgot to show it on the podcast. I completely forgot to show it. I wore it on Easter, which was, I want to say 2 weeks ago now, and I just completely forgot to show it. So both of the sewing projects that I have to show today are from the same designer. They're from Rosery Apparel. And the first one that I've got is this skirt right here. It doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but it is a long skirt with gathers, and fabric is this really cute, I'll try and get it flat so you can actually see, you know, it's this cute quilting cotton with a whole bunch of fall kind of leafy greenery on it. Really cute. It's this light orange material. It's got a comfy elastic waistband, and I'll put a cutaway here of me wearing it, and I will also link down below the video tutorial that I followed to make it. It's really just like take your waist measurement and then multiply it by 2 and by 3 by 4 to figure out what size rectangles that you need to make, and cut them out and sew them together. And the reason that I got this, I tried this out, was because I bought a set of rolled hem feet for my sewing machine, and I wanted to try them out on a project that like I didn't care about, and turns out it works fantastic. It works great, and it solves like all of the issues that I have with hemming. So I'm really a big fan. I will link the ones that I bought down below. I got them on Amazon. The description says that they should fit all most modern Brother, Singer, and Janome machines. I have a Singer heavy duty 4452, and they fit just fine on my machine. I have no issues with it. So I really like this. It is super, super cute. I have a bunch of the fabric left over, and I'm actually wanting to make a little like a crop top bralette type situation out of the fabric too, so I can have like a cute little summer matching set. And we'll see. It is just quilting cotton that I got from Joann's last fall, so that's why it's wrinkling up really, really bad. But I think it's super cute. It's so comfortable. Like, I don't have to worry about it. It's just a slip-on and go kind of skirt, which is great. I love a slip-on and go outfit that convinces people that you're putting in a lot more effort than you are. That's my favorite kind of outfit. And I've generally kind of found that anytime that you put on a skirt or a dress, people think you're trying a lot more than you are. But I think, like, yes, there is a good base level of comfort in wearing sweats and stretchy pants, but dresses are a lot more comfortable than a lot of people like give it credit for. Oh, the other finished object that I have is something that I said that I wanted to start in my last episode. So I started it and I ended up finishing it. And this is the Pansy Dress, also by Rosery Apparel. And I made it in View C. So it's the short sleeve and short skirt, so it goes to about my knees. And again, I'll put in a cutaway of me wearing it. And this is the dress that I'm going to be wearing for our engagement pictures. We're taking them next weekend, so I wanted to get it done. I'm really happy with it. The fabric actually turned out so nice and was a perfect, it was perfect. Like, I don't remember what it is. It was a fall collection from Joann's, and I haven't been able to find it again since, but I want to say it's a cotton, and it's super soft, and it has this really beautiful drape, but it's still a little bit thick. So I made size 16, except for the skirt where I cut out size 18 just to give it a little bit of extra gathers and volume, because I love a good volume in my skirts. I do. But here is where we start getting into story time territory. So I had bought the thread that I was planning on using for the skirt without bringing a swatch of my fabric with me, which is really smart and absolutely something you should do, and I highly recommend it. So this is what I bought, thinking that it was going to match. Here we go. But if I hold it up next to the dress, it is really, really blue compared to this like olivey green color. So I sewed a swatch with this and I was like, I do not like that. I'm not going to be able to handle it. It does not look good. What do I do? So I sewed another little piece next to it using white thread. I was like, it'll work, but it's just gonna stand out. Like, it matches all of the stripes, but I don't know. If I waver even just a little bit, and I'm still a beginner sewist, so I waver a lot. I don't do very well with straight lines yet. It's gonna show. The white is going to show very clearly, and I'm not gonna like that. So I'm gonna have to go to Joann's. And I don't want to go to Joann's because if I go, I'm going to spend more money than just a spool of thread. And I don't want to spend money right now. It's like, crap. What am I gonna do? So I put it down for a couple minutes, and then I was like, wait a second. My grandma gave me a box of her old sewing notions. And my grandmother is a prolific sewist. She had 10 kids and sewed every single piece of clothing for them for their entire time that they lived with them, and does now for her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She can't sew anymore, which is why I'm starting to receive her sewing and knitting notions, because she's just, her hands won't cooperate anymore. So she was a prolific sewist, and she passed down this box to me, and it's just a Singer box. I don't know how old it is, but it's decently old, and it comes down, and there's, I don't really, no, it should be fine. There's some things on the side. We've got a whole bunch of hooks and eyes in here, and buttons, and hand sewing thread, or hand sewing needles, and like curved needles that, you know, there's stuff in here that I don't even know what the purpose is for. But then you see that there, and oh, this is the hard part for me. There's all of these spools of thread. And some of them are like, you know, what we use now, the plastic casing. Some of them are old, with wood spools and mercerized cotton. And I was kind of like, you know what, I'm not going to use the old ones. Those are just going to stay, you know, like a nice heirloom to keep for my grandma. well, I was like, you know what, as a last ditch effort, let's just go through the case Grandma gave me and see if there's something in there that I could use. And there was. There was this, which is a perfect, it looks darker, it's a little bit darker. It is a perfect match. And it's beautiful. And it's one of the old spools. Like, this is, I couldn't put a date on it. I don't know a lot of history items like this, but it is a wood spool, which I'm sure they stopped making in like the 70s and moved over to plastic. And it says J&P coats, mercerized cotton. I can't see if that says 100 or 150 or 50 yards. So there's not a lot on here. For context, if you don't know, a typical spool of thread that we sell now is 250 yards. So it's like, okay, well, it's perfect. It is the exact color that I need. It's a nice little heirloom from my grandmother. Okay, I don't know how much of this I have. I'm gonna have to be very conservative with it. So I ended up using this for any of the seaming that you can see on the outside edge. So like on the, what's it called? The bias binding. The tack down here, the bias binding, and on the back, the bias binding here too, and on the sleeve here, and on the hem. I used it everywhere else where there's seaming. So like on all of the connecting seams, the shoulders, the darts, here, I used this. And I ended up finishing it with like, it's like one down and back. I don't know, I don't think it'll be very clear, and I don't think that it's going to focus very clearly. But that's all that I ended up left with it. So I nailed it very carefully, and the button that you see here is also something that I took from her little box. She has a bunch of buttons that she definitely cut off of clothing items and recycled in here. So I just picked this this pearly one, and the pattern does not call for a button hole in the back. It actually calls for the bias binding to be really long and for it to be a tie. But I was struggling with the bias binding. This was the first time that I have ever used bias binding, made my own. And it was going okay, like it was fine. I wasn't super happy with it, and then I started sewing with it and I realized I made it way too thin and it just wasn't working. And I didn't have a whole lot of fabric left over to make the very long piece that it needed. So I made just enough to do the neckband, the keyhole, and there was just enough here where you can see it that I had enough for it to loop over and back. And that's all of the bias binding that I had made. That was the appropriate thickness. I was like, go me. That actually worked out really well. And I kind of like the buttonhole a little better than a tie. I don't know if it's more secure, but it just feels more comfortable to me. I like it. So yeah, this is my dress for engagement pictures. We're taking it this weekend, and So I'll be wearing this and then a cardigan that I'll show you in a little bit that I'm still working on. And my combat boots. And then Colin, who is my fiance, will be wearing a navy flannel button down. So I think those two will look really nice together. We're going out into the middle of the mountains to take pictures. It'll be so cute. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So that is all that I've got for finished objects. And we're 21 minutes in and I've barely gotten started. I haven't talked about knitting once, you know, and this is in fact a knitting podcast with sewing sprinkled in. So let's talk about the knitting. We'll start with the cardigan that I just mentioned that I will be wearing for engagement pictures. That engagement pictures are 1 week from today. And you want to see how far in I am? Yeah, we've got crunch time. We've got worried time. So I've got one sleeve done. And I haven't picked up the second sleeve yet. And this is how far I am on the body. It's going to take a lot of knitting this week to get this done. But, oh, this is the Binweed by Ksenia Nadion, who is a designer I absolutely adore. I've made so many of her patterns. I think she's so brilliant. So, in the last episode, my marker for where I was in the last episode was here. So is that about 3 inches on the body and 1 complete sleeve. And as you can see, the sleeve is like where most of the effort goes into it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then the body is mostly stockinette, but there is a cable all down, like a button band, I would call it. And I'll put up a picture right here of me wearing it for my try-on yesterday when I tried on the sleeve for the first time. It's so cute. I'm really loving it. And it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I am so happy with it. But my goal for the last episode was to finish the skein of yarn that I was on, or the skein of yarns, because it is a mohair and fingering held together. And I didn't, or finish the skeins of yarns that I was on the body and then move over to the sleeve. And I didn't. I just moved over to the sleeve after about 3 inches. I have this much left on the skeins because I realized I made a pretty significant mess up on the cables on the body, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was too scared. So I'll show you on this side because this is the correct side. You can see it goes over, 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 so diagonally this way, over, all the way down. The other side is where I messed up. I'll try and hold this up. There we go. Okay, so we've got over, 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 over. Oh, what happens here? Suddenly we start going the other way. all the rest of the way down. So the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cables here from right here all the way down are incorrect. And I've had so many people tell me, like, no one will notice. You're the only one that notices that. No one cares. You're fine. No one's gonna notice. Just keep going. Guys, it's gonna bug me. And I'm the one, I'm planning on wearing these for my engagement pictures. Like, I'm gonna have to see these pictures for a long time. We're literally using them for most of our wedding event photo things. Like, it's gonna be, these are the first time, Colin and I have been together for almost 6 years. This is the first time that we've taken formal pictures together. Like, with an actual photographer. It's not just my mom with her iPhone. I want these to look nice, and if I'm sitting here with a cable that suddenly goes the wrong way, I'm gonna be like, crap. I'm gonna be so mad, and that's the only thing that I'm gonna be able to stare at, not, you know, how cute we look in the pictures. I'm gonna be looking at the cable. So I have to fix the cable now. So at the point where I realized it was messed up, I said, I can't handle it. I'm just gonna start the sleeves and deal with it later. So what I had determined was I'm going to do the sleeves completely. And then once I get to that point where the sleeves are done and all I have left is the body, I can determine how much time I have left to go back and fix things. If I have time to go back and fix things, or if I need to actually finish it and move on. So I have 1 week until I have to wear this, which means that I have 6 days until it needs to be done so that I can block it, because cables needs to be blocked. So I have 6 days to finish this. I'm hoping that I can give myself 3 days to finish the second sleeve, and if I can get the cables, the sleeves done by today's Sunday, by Wednesday, that'll give me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I want to start blocking it Saturday morning to be fully dry and ready to go by Sunday early afternoon to go take our photos Sunday early evening. I'm really crunching now. Hard. So I'm worried. I don't know how I'm going to fix the body. I can either rip back. The mistake is, I think, on the same row as the sleeve separation. So I can either rip back this much, or I can, or to like 2 rows before sleeves or after sleeve separation, and then tank back these rows, or this section, or I can leave it and just completely tank back that section for 4. I'm not sure what the best option is going to be for fixing it. I've kind of been too scared to stop and think about it. I've just kept going, which may not be the best idea, but we'll see. Leave your suggestions down below. And don't tell me, like, just leave it, because in my mind that's not an option. It may have to be an option because of my time limitations, but in my mind it's not an option. And I'll tell you what I choose next episode, because it'll be done. But right now, well, I don't know. I'm scared. You know that the Simpsons meme? Haha, I'm in danger. Yeah, that one. That feels like me right now. But, I mean, the good thing about this cardigan is I'm having a really fun time working on it. It's on and off at the point where I'm kind of pushing through because I have to finish it. But I don't, like, my mind's wandering. My mind is on other projects. It's somewhere else where I don't really want to work on it in that moment. So I'm not calling it like a slog to get through right now. It's just like I'm forcing myself to work on it when there are other projects that I would rather be working on. So it's a little unfortunate that I kind of have to force myself to work on it when I don't want to be. But I'm really happy with it. I really love how it looks. I'm just kind of realizing that I don't love giving deadlines to myself. I realized that with the last test knit that I was on, but I'm really realizing I don't love working on deadlines. So this may be the last project you see from me for a little bit that has a solid deadline. Maybe not, because I still have my wedding shawl that I need to finish. That has a deadline of my wedding day, but that's 9 months away. That's fine. Alright, let's see, what else? I've got 4 other projects to talk about today. We'll start with the quick one that doesn't have a lot to talk about. It's in this bag that I'll have the bag maker link down below. I can't show you the project, I can't show you the yarn, but this is my design for the Yarnaceous Spring Quarterly Sock Club. And it is put up right here. Put up the inspo photo here for the yarn. And I'll have it linked down below. If you buy the sock club, you'll get a 100-gram skein and 2 20-gram mini skeins and a sock pattern by yours truly featuring the yarn in the sock club. And it's coming out, the pattern's coming out May 15th, so it's coming up soon, which means I need to finish writing the pattern. So I've been working on that. It's just about all ready to go, and I'm really excited about it. It's kind of cute. It's a little bit different than what I've worked on before, but she calls the design inspiration, the color inspiration, Dino Rosa. So I kind of took inspiration from Rosa and that floral kind of vibe. So that's fun. The next project that I have is something that I showed you in the last episode. I did not get very far on this episode though, to this episode. Like I didn't even put in a marker. I think I did like 3 rows. Because it just kind of ended up taking up too much brain space for what I had available for it. But this is my Thistle Cowl by Suzanne Strachan, using Sorella Classic Worsted in the color Hitchhiking Ghosts and Wildest Ride in the Wilderness, which was part of the Disneyland collection from 2021. And this is a brioche cowl, 2-color brioche cowl. Yeah, I did like 2 rows, so I don't have much to say about it. It was just too much mind space for what I had available, and all of my mind space was going towards the cardigan. But that said, is I didn't have a mindless project going. I needed something for like out of the house or watching TV. So I went through my languishing WIP pile and pulled 2 projects to work on. They're both socks. The first one is the Stillwater Socks by Summer Lee. And I made a shorty. Do I have the sock blocker right here that I can show you on? And I started these in September. I worked on them for I think like 2 days and then didn't touch them again since. This is what they look like. I was right here on this marker. That was literally all I had left on this one sock. Was that much. And this is a very unusual color palette for me. It's the navy red and neon yellow. Normally I'm like earth tones, mustards, you know, like 70s colors. But this was the colors of my family business. We race boats, and this is the color of our boat. And I had done another pair of socks in this yarn over the summer, and I had finished it at a boat race, and I needed something else to keep going. So I cast on a different sock, a shorty with the same yarn because it was what I had available, and just kind of worked it out. But I think they're super cute. So the neon yellow is Seismic Yarns Butter Sock in the color Not So Mellow Yellow. The red is Katya United Sock in number 17 red. And the blue is Lang Yarns Yawool in number 25 navy. And I've actually made this sock pattern before, but I don't have it anymore because when I made it, it was just wildly too big. It was too big for me, so I had to give it to my mom, who has wider feet than I do. And they fit her perfectly. And I made them all in the same size that I normally do. And I think it's just the sock pattern that stretches a lot. So this time I ended up casting on the size small. So it's normally I do a 64 stitch cast on. I think these were the 56. So hopefully these end up fitting me. I have not cast on sock number 2 yet. And the heel is a shadow wrap heel. I haven't cast on sock number 2 yet. I probably will soon, once I finish the sock that I am currently working on, which is this one right here. This one, this one has stitches falling off of it because I was in the middle of a row. Hold please. I'm starting to lose energy, so I need to get going. Alright, so I finished up that row of the sock and took a little break so I could like chill out. Excuse me. But this is the other stock that I picked up. This is what it looks like. Oh, it's like focusing beautifully on this one. This is the Santasaur sock by me. This was my Christmas Eve cast on this year. It was actually a pattern that came out on Christmas Eve this year. But this one is a little bit different than how the pattern is written because it doesn't have any of the color work that makes it like look very Christmassy. It's just the stretch pattern. So I thought it'd be really cool to see what it looks like just by itself in a non kind of Christmassy yarn. So I'm using Yarnacious's Salta sock in the color Mommy's Very Angry. I didn't put a marker in where I had started, but I think that I was like right here. And I'm going to do another 10 rows and then put in the heel. So this is just my on-the-go project for right now, and I'm going to finish these off, and then I will come back, and once this pair is done, I will come back and do the second sock on the still water sock. So best tip that I have for avoiding second sock syndrome is to cast on the second sock immediately after finishing the first. Even if you only do the cast on and like 2 rows after, just getting through that cast on, like you in your brain you're like, oh, I have another project going on right now. You're not telling yourself that, oh, it's done, it's whatever, it's done. It's not, because you already have the second sock on your needles, and you're ready to keep going. So that is all of the projects that I have going on right now. I've got a lot to work on, got a lot to finish, and it's gonna be a busy week to try and get that cardigan done. We'll see how it works. I'm nervous, but it'll be great, it'll be fine. So life stuff, what's been going on since my last episode? It's been busy. I officially had my last day at my horrible, awful job, and I jokingly say this, but I am officially unemployed. No, I officially work for myself now. So we are making way. If you are in need of any kind of wedding bouquet preservation painting or live wedding painter, hit me up. My website and my email are down below. I actually got my first client in the last 2 weeks, and this is the first time that I've had somebody commission me who I don't know. So that was incredibly exciting, and I'm waiting on her email back right now on the first run through of her painting to see if she has any changes before I send it off to her. So that was really exciting. I'm really excited about that. Let's see what else happened. My birthday happened. That was a big deal. Oh my gosh, let me tell you a story about my birthday. First, let me thank everybody who shopped my birthday sale. That was great, big, beautiful surprise to see a couple sales come through. I'll have another sale here in a couple weeks when the new sock pattern comes out and when the Alki shawl comes out. And thank you everybody so much for applying to test knit the Alki shawl. I got exactly the number of testers who applied who I wanted to have for this test knit, so it made me very happy. That I didn't have to deny anybody. It always kind of makes me happy that I don't have to deny people. I've had to deny people a couple times and it just made me sad. But I guess that's a benefit of being a smaller designer, is still that you don't have to disappoint people. But okay, let's go back to my birthday. So I share a birthday with my dad and my grandpa and my great-grandma. It's very, very special. It's very big privilege, and we're all in a row. So it's my dad, his dad, and his mom, all in a row. It's fantastic. It's very special. A fun fact, haven't submitted the paperwork for it yet, but we are tied for Guinness Book of World Records for a number of birthdays in a row. It was so cool. So my dad and grandpa have always been like, well, it's Ashley's birthday, so she gets to choose what we do. Well, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, no, I don't want the pressure. You guys help figure out what we're doing too. So my grandpa really isn't able to go do things for birthday anymore, so it's my dad and I were like going back and forth for like 2 weeks. Well, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Just constantly back and forth. I don't know, what do you want to do? And eventually my mom was like, you guys are so stupid. Pick something. It's like, okay, fine. So we're both really big hockey fans. And we found out that the last game of the regular season for the Seattle Kraken was going to be that night. And my mom was like, I tried looking up tickets, but they were too expensive for the four of us to go. The four of us being my mom, dad, my fiance, and I. To go. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I kind of figured they would be expensive, but whatever. But we found out that the practice facility for the Kraken, it has a restaurant inside, and they were hosting a watch party. And I was like, oh, let's go do that. That'll be really fun. I'll watch the game at a watch party, and they do giveaways, and like it's participatory. Like, it'll be really fun. Let's go do that. So we finally made a decision, and it was great, and we were all really excited for it. And the morning of my birthday, I start getting, you know, the happy birthday text from my aunts and uncles and my friends and everybody. And my uncle sends me, happy birthday, surprise, you're going to the Kraken game tonight. What? Okay, cool. Awesome. So he surprised my mom, dad, fiance, and I with tickets, and then him, my uncle, and my little cousin, who's 12, were also going. We found out later that another one of my aunts and uncles were going too. We met up with them a little bit later, so that was a great surprise. A really good time. So we went over to my grandpa's house, my grandma and grandpa's house, and had a little bit of a hangout time with them, and we did donuts instead of birthday cake. So we all got our own individual maple bar donut that had birthday candles in it, and we all celebrated together. It was really fun. And then they live really close to the arena for where the Kraken play, so we all just kind of parked our cars there and carpooled down together, so we didn't have to pay for 3 households worth of parking. Instead, we only paid for 1 car. Makes sense, because parking down at the arena is really expensive. But it was fun. And we were all just kind of hanging out, having a good old time. It was a really good environment because we had just made playoffs for the first time, and so everyone's just kind of really excited, having a good time. And like, the game's going, and so during the first intermission, my uncle's like, I want to buy you, meaning me and my dad, a birthday drink. Let's go up to the bar. And he takes us up to this bar that I had never heard of in the arena, the Space Needle Lounge, if anybody's familiar with the area, is what it's called. I didn't see any signage up for it. I didn't know it was there. I would have never known it was there if he hadn't taken us up there. And we're all just kind of hanging out, and we get in line to get drinks, and I have tweet notifications on my phone for the Kraken, for when they tweet. I had a tweet come through as we were standing in line. Hey, the first 2 fans to come say hello to the Kraken admin and say the secret code phrase, that's Kraken hockey baby, in this location, win 2 tickets to Jersey Off Your Back at the end of the game. And the picture was exactly where I was standing. And if you're not familiar, Jersey Off Your Back is a thing that NHL teams do at the end of a regular season, where a bunch of fans come down onto the ice, and the players will quite literally take their jersey off, their game-worn jersey off, and hand it to them. So the picture was where I was standing in the Space Needle Lounge. I was like, oh my god, I start wildly looking around. Where is he? There's nobody else in this bar that is going to have tweet notifications on their phone. They were all like, it was a socializing area. It was not a fan kind of area. And my dad's like, what's going on? What are you doing? And my uncle's like, what? So confused. So I start walking away, and my dad's standing back, and he's like, what are you doing? And I turn around, and I'm like, follow me. So I start walking around the bar trying to find who the heck is the Kraken Twitter admin, because, you know, they don't post pictures of themselves. That's not what they do. But I kind of eventually figured out, you know, the one person standing by themselves who has, you know, business attire on while everybody else is wearing jerseys and socializing. The one person standing by himself, that's probably the Kraken Twitter admin. So I go up to him and I'm like, are you him? That's Kraken Hockey Baby? He's like, yeah, great. And so my dad starts following after me, and he still has no clue what's going on. And I shove my phone in his face and I'm saying, here, read this. And eventually he's like, oh, I need my glasses, I can't read. So he gets out his readers and reads the tweet, and he's like, oh, I'm supposed to say that's Kraken Hockey Baby. And the guy's like, yep, you are supposed to say that. So the guy hands us tickets to Jersey Off Your Back. And from the time the tweet went out to the time I found the guy, it had been maybe 45 seconds. And I feel so lucky, so unbelievably lucky that that had happened. That wild, what the heck? So I was just in the absolute perfect place at the absolute perfect time to win those tickets. And the fact that then I got to share that with my dad, who he was so excited. He still had no clue what was going on until he read the card that the guy gave us, where he realized, he was like, oh my god. So the guy got a picture of us, posted us on Twitter. That was really cool. We were really excited. We go back to my uncle and he's like, what are you guys doing? Like, what happened? Also, it's our turn to order. What drinks do you want? So I was freaking out, and my mom and fiance were sitting outside of the bar with my cousin because he's 12 and can't come into the bar. So eventually they come in and I'm like, guys, look at this. And they were like, no way. How on earth? I was in shock. They were all in shock. I was like physically shaking. I could not believe it. It was unbelievable. So that was so super exciting. We ended up losing the game, but I did not even like process it because I was going to go down on the ice and get a jersey off your back. So we go down. We ended up not being able to watch the last 10 minutes of the game because we had to go down to meet up with the promo team to get everything all coordinated and figured out, and watched the last 5 minutes of the game. I'll put up my view from where we were standing for the last 5 minutes of the game. Absolutely unbelievable. So cool. And then I'm a big fan of our mascot Bowie because a lot of people don't like him, and I think it's very funny. So he came down and was kind of hanging out with us. My dad was like, hey, it's her birthday. I'm like, stop, it's your birthday too, shut up. So he was like, oh, you know, like mascots don't talk, so he did this to do happy birthday, and he wrapped me up and gave me a huge hug. It was so cute. It made me so happy. And then we got to, we all got handed envelopes. So we didn't know who we were going to be getting the jerseys of until we were handed envelopes minutes before we went out onto the ice. And inside, let me go grab it. Okay, so here's the envelope. And inside, I kept my card saying I won. It says, "Congratulations, you have won a jersey off the back. This event will take place post-game on the ice. Please join us at section 21 to 22 with 10 minutes remaining on the scoreboard clock in the third period." With the Kraken logo on the back. And then inside, there's also a Sharpie that they gave us so that the players could sign. There's 2 pieces of paper. The first one had the number of the player that I got the jersey for, and the other one was a certificate of authentication that this is a real jersey and has actually been signed and is real by this player. It says, "Congratulations and thank you for supporting your Seattle Kraken. The certificate hereby certifies that the individual below used and signed this prime green 2022-23 NHL jersey at Fan Appreciation Night on April 13th, 2023. Our history in the great game of hockey goes as deep as the Puget Sound. The Seattle Metropolitans were the first American club to hoist the Stanley Cup. They are an eternal part of our city's history, and we pay tribute to them by wearing the S. We look forward to seeing you on game days wearing your Seattle Kraken jersey." And then it's signed by the player and by Jazz Bazuik, who is a community program specialist for the Seattle Kraken. So just a little authentication. So I got number 28, which, if you didn't know, April 13th was my 28th birthday. Things just kept piling up. So I got 28. His name is Carson Soucy. He's a defenseman. And my dad got number 3, Will Borgen, who is also a defenseman. And my sister lives in Florida. So in December, my parents and my brother went down to go visit her. And they all went to a Tampa Bay Lightning game. Happened to be while the Seattle Kraken were in town. And my dad sat there for like 30 minutes drinking a beer and talking to some guy. Turns out it was Will Borgen's dad. So everything, like all of these coincidences just kept lining up, and it was like perfect. So here it is. Here's his jersey. It smells really bad because, you know, he played a full game of hockey and then immediately handed me his sweaty, stinky, wet jersey. So, signature is right here. And then I'm trying to figure out for the entire time now, he burned his jersey. Like, there is melted right here. I don't know what he did on the sleeve, but it's, yeah. And then here's the front. And now I'm going to move this so far away from my face as possible because it smells like hockey player who played a full game. Love it. So that was unbelievable. So cool. How about that for a story time? Not quite the story time you expected to hear today when I said that, hey, welcome to the knitting podcast. But it was really cool. It was really exciting. And honestly, I don't think that, like, my dad doesn't smile in pictures. He kind of gives that half grin kind of smile. He was full blown smiling, all teeth out. He was so happy. I think I accidentally totally nailed his birthday present. He was so excited. We were all just kind of in shock that it actually happened. That it was unbelievable. So, yeah. I don't know how I'm ever gonna top another birthday like that. It was really cool. And yeah, I'm still really excited by it. Oh, I have an acquisition to show you. I totally forgot about it. I didn't write it down in my notes. So let's move on from life stuff, my little story time, to acquisition, and then we'll wrap up with my goals for the next 2 weeks. I got my Fangirl Fibers Disney Parks Club for March. And this is what it looks like. This is called Living with the Land, which, if you don't know, is the best ride at Disney ever. It is super pretty. It is like this neon, like, can I say neon mint green? Does that make sense? So we'll pull up the whole, these are the first 3 months that we've got of the club so far, all together. So cute. So cute. But we've got It's Small World and Tron Light Cycle and Living with the Land. So those are the first 3. And I said one of my goals in the last episode for this week, for today, was to cast on the blanket that I'm wanting to make with this club. And once again, I didn't do it. I had too much going on. I was busy. I was starting a business and meeting hockey players and making a cardigan. Didn't have time. Sorry. I mean, I was looking back through my goals because I only wrote down 2 goals today because I just don't have the mind space to try and think of things today. And this has been my goal for like 3 times and I still haven't gotten it done. So I think I need to start this blanket. My bad. But I'm not going to make it a goal anymore. I'm just going to let it happen when it happens. I don't want to keep letting it go though. I really do want to cast it on. So let's look at our goals for the next 2 weeks before I come back and have another episode. I want to finish my Binweed cardigan. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I have to finish it before we take our engagement pictures 1 week from today. So, and the other goal that I have is I want to submit some pieces of art to the Edmonds Art Festival, which is a local art festival in June. And I'd like to submit some pieces to their gallery. I haven't decided which ones yet. I think this one right here might be one. I think it might be this one. I have another option. I have another 2 options, but I want to submit 2. So 2 out of the 3 that I'm thinking of. And I want to get that done today. The deadline's on Friday. So I want to do that. I want to put myself out there with my artwork. We'll see. But that's all I've got for today. I'm gonna go not talk anymore because my voice is feeling it. It's going through the ringer. And I'm going to go start the second sleeve of the cardigan. So give this video a like, comment down below, tell me what you're working on right now. Convince me to cast on another project because I so desperately want to cast on a new project, like really, really bad. So tell me what you're working on so I can live vicariously through you while I'm working on finishing this cardigan. If I didn't have to finish this cardigan with a deadline, I probably would have already cast on a new project. But let me live vicariously through you. Tell me what you're working on. Other than that, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.